What happens to people over 60 if they become too health conscious? That's something I'm going to talk about today, so stick around. Hi, my name is Hachiaki Takamiya, a 63-year-old biohacker based on Japanese natural health and the author of Live Wiser, Not Smarter. Are you health conscious, by the way? I suppose many of you are health conscious for a certain degree since you are watching this video, but are you very health conscious? Do you care about food all the time? So, for example, do you avoid processed food 100%? Like, do you never eat any kind of fast food, or do you avoid plastic completely? Or even when you go out to a restaurant, you avoid using, ketchup like that. So let's check how health conscious you are. So are your health habits truly supporting you? A gentle self-reflection. So what you do is think about how often each statement below resonate with your experiences. Please mark always, often, sometimes, rarely, or never. So you have a pen or pencil and a piece of paper. And then if you don't, just find one there. And then so I will give you the 12 statement. And for each statement, mark how often you feel that way. You often feel it, or sometimes, or rarely, or never. Okay, so number one, I feel uneasy or guilty after eating food that aren't part of my usual healthy routine. So please write your answer. All right, so two, planning and thinking about my meals for the day takes up a significant portion of my mental energy. So please write your answer. Okay, so three, my commitment to healthy eating or exercise makes social gatherings feel complicated. Please write your answer there. Four, if I can't follow my usual health routines, for example, due to travel or unexpected events, I feel notable level of distress. Please write your answer. And five, I find myself silently evaluating the food choices of others around me. How often do you do that? Okay, six, I spend a fair amount of time researching potential hidden risk in everyday foods or products. Seven, missing a workout or specific health practice can make me feel irritable or anxious. Eight, my efforts to maintain a healthy lifestyle require substantial time or financial investment. 9. Despite my healthy habit, I experience feelings of stress or overwhelm. 10. I find that my enjoyment of food is overshadowed by concerns about its nutritional profile. 11. I feel drawn to explore new health trends or biohacks, even if they add complexity to my routine. Finally, 12. I aim for very precise or ideal standards in my health practices, believing this is essential for true well being. Okay, what were your answers? So please count how many you have always or often, how many you have sometimes, rarely, or never. So if your answers are mostly rarely or sometimes, your approach to health likely feels balanced and supportive. You're probably integrating healthy habits without significant stress. And if your answers are a mix of sometimes and often, you might be experiencing some level of stress or complexity in your health journey. This could be a good opportunity to explore where you might introduce more flexibility, ease, or self compassion into your routines. And if your answers are mostly, often, or always, if many of these statements strongly resonate with you, the pursuit of health might be unintentionally adding significant stress or challenges to your life. So you need to watch out. But how does it impact over 60? So if you are over 60, how does being too health conscious impact your life? That's something I will share with you today. So please watch the video until the end. Those of you who just discovered this video today, this is the Ikigai Diet channel, which is a health and longevity channel. We usually cover things like diet, exercise, mindset, and sometimes we cover Japanese blue zone because there are several blue zones in Japan other than Okinawa, and we cover from traditional Japanese health method to modern Japanese health trend such as chokatsu. So basically, this is the channel about how to increase health span for people over 50 or 60. So if you're interested, please subscribe to this channel. Thank you. Okay, so I shared with you this new Stanford study before. Actually, this was a last year study, like it came out in August 2024. So it's been nearly a year now. So in this study, they discovered that humans age dramatically in two births at age 44, then 60. So if you are over 60, the 60 is the age you need to pay attention to. So after 60, many function deteriorates, and especially immune system. And the gut is in charge of the immune system. For example, bifidobacteria, which is a beneficial bacteria in the gut, bifidobacteria levels tend to decrease in the gut with age, particularly after the age of 60. Bifidobacteria type of beneficial bacteria that are particularly abundant in the infant gut and play a crucial role in maintaining gut health and homeostasis throughout life. They are known to inhibit the growth of harmful bacteria and contribute to overall gut balance. As people age, especially after 55 to 65, the population of bifidobacteria in the gut tend to decrease. This decline is often accompanied by an increase in less beneficial or even potentially harmful bacteria. So we have beneficial bacteria or good bacteria and harmful bacteria or bad bacteria and opportunistic bacteria in the gut. Opportunistic bacteria go either way. If the good bacteria becomes dominant, then they follow the good ones. If the bad bacteria becomes dominant, they follow the bad ones. So it's important to keep this ratio of good bacteria 2 and bad bacteria 1. But after 60, good bacteria decrease and bad bacteria increase. So we need to deliberately try to increase good bacteria and try to decrease bad bacteria, or try not to increase bad bacteria. So how do bad bacteria get increased? By many things. One cause is sugar. Any kind of sugary food like donuts, cakes, and all those sweet stuff can increase harmful bacteria, or alcohol, or animal-based protein and fat. But also stress. Yes, stress can increase harmful gut bacteria too. So we need to be careful. When you talk about stress, you often think of work stress, like you get stress from your work, but there are all kinds of stress. And we have a mental stress too. So how you think, how you feel can create stress depending on your mindset. Now, if you're too health conscious, and especially if you feel guilty not achieving your perfect regimen, then sometimes that can cause stress. Or because you're such a perfectionist, you start judging other people, that other people not perfect. But that's a negative emotion or negative thinking can create stress. Therefore, your mindset is very important. But it makes sense if you think about gut-brain connection, how you think can affect your gut. So how you feel can affect your gut too. So if you really want to optimize your gut health, it is very critical to control your mental state, to stay positive as much as possible, especially after 60. But isn't that being health conscious a good thing? Yes, generally speaking, being health conscious is good because you need to think about health. You need to be careful about what to eat, and you need to, think about what exercises are good and so on. So generally speaking, being health conscious is good. Only when you become too health conscious. But even being too health conscious, I don't think it is always your fault. I don't think you're overreacting. You have all rights to be too health conscious because sometimes you need to be. But the problem is the world we live in is not as health conscious as you are. And we live in an unhealthy society. And sometimes the gap between you and the surroundings make you feel stressed. So depending on what kind of neighborhood you live in too, if you live in a community where there are many health conscious people around, maybe you don't get this kind of gap so much. So it's sort of okay. But if you live in a sort of regular kind of society where most people are not following your diet or your exercise regimen and so on, then you do feel this gap. The more you pay attention to your health, the more you separate yourself from the others, you kind of isolate yourself. And that can make your life complicated and difficult. So in my case, I only become health conscious about things that I can control, about things within my control, such as food you eat at home. But when you go to other people's houses and then the food are offered, that's something you cannot control, then I just don't care. Or when you go out to eat at a restaurant, then I just don't care. But if you keep being health conscious everywhere you go, you will experience this gap more. One thing you need to pay attention to if you're around 60 is retirement. I suppose some of you have already retired, or some of you may retire soon. And then retirement is a special time because for many of you, it is the first time in your life to be stress free because you have had a lot of stress in your work up to now. So now is the time to relax, now is the time to enjoy. But at the same time, we need to be careful about health. It's kind of the dilemma. Therefore, it's important to find a way that we can enjoy. So, how to lead a healthy life that is enjoyable. That is important. It doesn't mean you can eat lots of sugar, drink lots of alcohol, and eat a lot of red meat. Of course, we need to avoid them as much as possible to lead a healthy lifestyle, but you don't want to create stress by restricting your life too much. So creating this balance is critical. So how to do that? How to keep this balance? One thing you can practice is hara hachibunme. That means you stop eating when you are 80% full. But this can apply to other areas too. So aim for 80% optimal. You don't need to seek 100% optimal approach. You don't need to seek perfection. It's okay to be imperfect. Having this 20% space can give you a time to relax. Or it could be 70%. I mean, 80% or 70%. whichever is fine. 70% of what you eat counts, not 100%. So stop thinking in terms of 0 or 100. Some people avoid a particular type of food all the time, 100%. Or some people embrace a particular type of food all the time. But it's okay to eat them sometimes. It doesn't kill you unless you always eat them. So it's only sometimes it doesn't affect you as much. So 70% of what you eat counts, not 100%. Another thing you can practice is hare and ke. Hare means festivals or celebrations, and ke means usual and everyday life. So in Japan, we make a distinction between the two. So during the K period, we usually have frugal meals. But during the Hare period, we have feast. So whenever we have, like a seasonal festivals or some kind of celebration, someone's graduating from school or someone's wedding or, birthday party and so on, then we have a feast. So in the Ikigai diet, we divide the week to Ke and Hare. So during the week is Ke period, and the weekend is a Hare period. So during the week, you can lead a disciplined lifestyle, but the weekend, you can celebrate your life and relax. For example, during the week, you can practice a plant-based diet, or you can exercise regularly, but the weekend, you can include animals and you can take a break from your exercises. By having this K period and Hare period, you can approach your healthy routine with a little more relaxing manner. Another tip is focusing on the positive, not the negative. For example, in the questionnaire 6, it says, I spend a fair amount of time researching potential hidden risks in everyday foods or products. Now, risks is a problem. You are looking at a negative aspect of food and things. I would usually avoid doing this. I mean, also, recently, there's tons of information like that on YouTube because this kind of negative information sell, like the truth about this healthy food or hidden danger of this healthy food and so on. Those information sells. But quite often, they are not accurate. The information is not always correct. They're only looking at one aspect. Maybe this food contains one nutrient that can cause certain thing, but it also contains other nutrients that can compensate it, or it depending on what else you eat in your diet too. By combining this food with other food, then the nutrient in other food can compensate it. So you need to look at it more holistically. Just looking at one element doesn't really serve you so much, especially when the information is negative, because it can create nocebo effect. Do you know what they are? They are just like placebo effect, but the opposite of placebo effects. So placebo effects are positive belief you have about something. And if you believe that something is good for you, then you will gain a positive response, regardless of whether it is actually working or not. Mentally, you create that positive response because you believe this is good for you. But nocebo effect, if you have a negative belief about something, even though the food isn't bad, you mentally create a negative reaction in your body. So knowing something bad can be harmful to you. So you need to be careful with negative information. If it's true, if it's absolutely true, then you need to be careful with that food. But if the information is incomplete, by knowing it, it can negatively influence you. So in some ways, you are better off not knowing it. Those information are not helpful to you in some way because they're giving you lots of nocebo effects. So instead of doing this, I recommend this. So I spend a fair amount of time researching potential benefits in everyday foods or products. So if you look for benefit, that's good because you never lose. If you discover a hidden benefit, that's something you didn't know, then you'll be happier. But if you try to look for a hidden risk, then it can create some negative reality to you. Because sometimes you cannot change your lifestyle. You cannot avoid certain food because maybe this food is only available in your region and so on. Or financial reason, maybe this food is the cheapest and best option you have. An alternative that other people recommend may be too expensive for you and stuff like that. So sometimes you cannot change the situation, then it is better not to know it. Then you can just live happily. The next step is focusing on yourself. So this statement in the questionnaire, I find myself silently evaluating the food choices of others around me. Now, so others are not important. Just think about yourself, your situation, your choices, because no matter what they do, they have their reason of choosing their lifestyle, whether it's food or other things too. So just respect others' decision and don't criticize others because being critical can create negative vibration, which is not good for your gut. So for your own sake, it is better not to be critical towards others. Unless it is a constructive criticism, like you really want to help others, maybe that's okay. But quite often we criticize others because it sort of satisfies our desire. I mean, people enjoy criticizing others. We have a natural desire to be critical, so you don't want to get into that sort of trap. Just respect whatever others do. They have their life, and that is their choice. And you have your life, and that is your choice. And then, so you want to respect other choice, and you want others to respect your choice too. And the next step is being on kansha. So this is a way to pray at the Japanese Shinto shrine. So Shin kansha means appreciate the favors gods have already given to you. So when we go to shrine, we pray, and many people ask for graces. For example, please give me some happiness. Please give me some health. Please give me some fortune, and so on. But instead of doing that, we thank the God for giving favors. And that changes our mindset completely. Asking for graces, you pay attention to lack of happiness. Because you lack in happiness, you want to ask for it. But thanking for graces makes you pay attention to the fact that you have happiness. Because you have happiness, you want to thank for it. Therefore, it conditions you to pay attention to the bright side of life. It is like a gratitude journal, like a keeping a gratitude journal to focus on something you feel grateful for happening in your life now. So find something you feel grateful for in daily life, even small thing, such as when it is sunny, just enjoy and appreciate the fact that it is sunny and you can do many things outdoor. Or if you have a great meal, then you can appreciate that. Or even when something you ordered arrived, there's a small things in your life, but you can feel grateful for. Then pay attention to those events. That can influence the gut positively. The last tip is don't focus on one particular thing. For example, diet. Some people are very particular about diet and they want to seek perfection. If one's diet is not perfect, like only 90% perfect, then you might criticize it. So often the argument among different diets, such as plant-based diet, ketogenic diet, macrobiotic diet, and so on, the differences are very small. I mean, most of them are healthy. I mean, compared to standard American diet, they are healthy. So instead of picking a small point, just look at the bigger picture. Because even the diet is not perfect, you can always compensate by doing your exercise or fasting or sleep or brain optimization or sauna. So diet is not everything. The same thing is true about exercise. Some people are fixated upon perfect exercise regimen, but there's no perfect exercise regimen. It's okay to be imperfect because you can always compensate by fasting or sleep or other thing. Exercise is not everything. So what I do is I aim for 80% optimal in every field, but as a whole, it is pretty balanced and it is good enough. Maybe not perfect, but it doesn't matter. It is good enough for me to lead a healthy and happy life. So the bottom line is if you are over 60, you don't want to be too health conscious because that can increase some harmful gut bacteria, and you want to avoid that after 60 as much as possible. However, being self-conscious itself is good. You want to be health conscious because you want to lead a healthy lifestyle. So everything is in moderation. As long as it is in moderation, it is great to be health conscious. For the details about Shinyon Kansha and some other aspect of your mental health, please read Ikigai Biohacking, Chapter 6, Mental Exercises to Bioharmonize Yourself. Okay, thank you for watching. Again, my name is Hachiaki Takamiya, the author of Live Wiser, Not Smarter. If you like this video, please give me your thumb up and subscribe to my channel. And please leave your comment. How did you do on that questionnaire about how health conscious you are? Please share your answers if you like. Now, if you enjoyed this video, you may also enjoy this video.